What's the organization you represent?
The organization I represent is the Blue Plaid Society.
And what do they do? What's their mission?
Our mission is to bring fentanyl awareness, education to the public and to provide compassion for those who may have lost a loved one from fentanyl poisoning.
What part of the country do you represent or reach?
We are located in Rockledge, Florida, so our base is Florida. However, because of our website and our outreach, we are reaching people all over the country and even as far as Canada.
Oh, so tell me how you got involved with this organization. What's your story?
I am the founder of the Blue Plaid Society, and I created the Blue Plaid Society because I lost my son, Tristan Welsh, to fentanyl poisoning on November 4th, 2021. I knew nothing about fentanyl at all, and when I found out about fentanyl, it was 30 minutes after they told me he had passed. And so my mission became, I wanted to go out and reach parents that have not heard of this at all, because they could possibly affect change for their child and save their child from this.
Tell us about your loved one.
Tristan, he was really smart. If you thought you had an opinion or education on a topic and you talked with Tristan about that topic, he would give you 5 different ways to look at it. And he would re-educate you. He knew a lot. He was self-taught, and he just was so smart. And he was kind of hard to have a conversation with because he was so smart. But he was also troubled, and he suffered from anxiety and depression, and he used alcohol in his teenage years and into his young adult years, and recreationally used drugs. And those things were a big point of contention between my son and I always. It's hard to be the parent of a child that's using alcohol and drugs to mask their feelings, but he did.
Reflecting on what you know now, what do you wish you knew back then of what you know now?
What I didn't know was about fentanyl. I didn't know that fentanyl was a thing. I'd never even heard of it. And I didn't know that there was no more time. There was no time for Tristan to grow out of that. He died from fentanyl. So that's what I wish I had known. If I had known about it, then I would have done something different. People say, well, maybe he would have died anyway. Well, maybe he would have, but if I would have known about it, I would have approached his treatment a lot differently. Tristan, before he died, he was in rehab for a month. And every time I asked him to go to a facility or asked him to get help, he did. And he always helped himself, and he really, really tried. He did not want to die of this. He would have got through this if what he had taken was actually heroin. Then he would have lived. I would have caught it, and he would have got through it again. But because what he injected contained fentanyl, he didn't have a chance. So that's what I would tell people. You don't have time. You don't have time.
What advice would you give families who have lost a loved one like you have?
The advice I would give families who have lost a loved one is to tell their story. Tell their story. Don't be afraid to tell their story. Don't be afraid to tell your story, because if you tell one person, you're going to educate that person, and that gives that person an opportunity to save their own child. Even if the people don't think that their kids do drugs or would never do drugs, tell your story to give them the knowledge just to substantiate the values that they've already instilled in them. So they won't ever do it. So when they are faced in that moment with a peer or anxiety or depression themselves, that they will have the tools to not do it.
And if they have a loved one that's currently struggling with substance use, what advice would you give them?
If you are currently struggling with a loved one in substance use, particularly a child, the advice I would give is to not give up. Don't give up. It is so hard to be the parent of an addict, but it is so much harder to be a bereaved parent. It is so much harder to lose that child and live the rest of your life without that child. So my advice is don't give up. I would also say don't kick your child out of the house. A lot of people feel like kicking the kid out of the house is going to solve the problem. They're going to wake up. They're going to stop doing what they're doing. Addiction doesn't work that way. Once a child or a loved one gets addicted to an opioid, especially a very, very high power, strong opioid like fentanyl, it hijacks their brain. The dopamine levels go up so high in the brain, and then the crash is so much harder than your usual street drugs that you find. The person that you're dealing with, if they're taking street drugs and there's fentanyl involved, one, they're not going to live long. Get them help. Two, if you kick them out of the house, you're going to kick an addict out of the house. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to have a homeless addict. You're not going to solve their problem by kicking them out of the house. You're going to only exacerbate that problem. So don't give up. It's really, really hard. It's really, really frustrating. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel like there's no hope. You're going to wish maybe if they go to jail, they'll sober up. Don't wish them out. Don't wish them to jail. Just don't give up. Just keep going. Keep trying. Do anything. Keep trying. Because you don't have time. You don't have time. Fentanyl is out there and it's everywhere and it's in every street drug and you don't have time.
That's very good. Lastly, is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you want to share with the public watching this video?
The thing I want to share with the public is our kids aren't garbage. They're our children. They were people. They were loved ones. They had life and opportunity, and it was cut short. So please don't, tell someone to get over it or tell someone that their child deserved to die, because they should have known better. They shouldn't have taken that drug. They should have known better. You should have taught your kid better. There's such a stigma that goes with drug use. The people that are dying today, they're not addicts. Some of them are, but a lot of them are one-time users, experimental users. Fentanyl is a poison that's gotten into the illicit street drug supply, and it's unpredictable. And if your kid is using or has the potential to use, they very well could die very soon. So take this very seriously. And for the people that have already lost a loved one, be kind to them, because this is the hardest thing that a parent could ever go through.